Good morning, good afternoon, guys. You guys know the deal. When the music stops, if you can hear the music, well, last stream it wasn't coming out. Um, but I'll be starting in a few minutes. It's just hitting 9 o'clock right now. All right, looks like we have some people coming in. Um, I'll wait another 2 minutes or so hopefully you guys can be patient with me. Good morning, Norbert. I was considering not doing a stream today, uh, but decided that it could be valuable, and I actually had a trade that closed out um, just a little bit ago. So usually I do streams when trades close out. At least I like to do that. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and start. All right. So good morning, good evening to you guys. It is it Tuesday? I'm like forgetting the days. Yep, it's Tuesday. And it's not. It's just after 9. And I had a couple trades close out in profit. You can see them here on the 30-minute time frame. I actually took them on the 5-minute, and I had some news that came out that caused this, and I'll talk about what actually moved the market in that way. I'm going to talk a lot about the pound today, the health of the pound, uh, what's going on with that, and we're going to do some more testing. And I'm going to show you with the software that I've been using, the LMFX, and I'm testing a new EA right now as well. I'm going to show you a little bit about that. This one's completely different. This is a third one. And I'm also going to show you, and this is what this stream is going to be about, is showing you guys how to go about creating an EA if you don't want to do it yourself. Okay, so let's go down to the 5-minute chart. And as like a standard, I always talk about my positions first. Okay, so order 1, order 2, and they both closed out here for $124 profit. All right, so the first order was taken after a inside candle setup. So I liked the way this one looked. There was a couple of other ones before it. There was this one here. There was even this one. There was this one here too. I like this one because it had a little bit more volume. It also broke this level too. And when I saw so many happen in this cluster right here, I was thinking that this one would be more substantial. Well, it was actually one of the only ones out of this whole grouping that actually moved down a bit, just not enough, and shot up a little higher. I considered taking this one, but stayed out. And then I considered taking this one, stayed out as well. And then I saw it push down, and this candle happened. This candle. It shot back up, and I was like, well, I think it's going to pull back down right up here. So it shot back up to the initial inside candle setup, and then I had a feeling that it would go back down, and we had some news that came out. That news that actually pushed it was, you can see it on Forex Factory, Bank of Canada. This news statement that came out just 20 minutes ago is what drove the price down in a pretty big way. Now, why did I take only $124 profit? Well, that was kind of my bad. I actually wanted to take more like 300 on this basket, and I was pretty happy with my entries on it, entry one, entry two, and especially entry two. So when I entered up here, I don't know why I didn't take this entry up here. I should have, but I entered late, and the reason why is because I didn't notice that I was at a whole number up there. So I took that entry, ended up being really good. So the $124 profit was an issue because I had a profit close all EA. So this EA actually closes all my trades in a profit amount, and it closed them all quite early actually. It was supposed to be closed at $170, but they closed at 125. Not really sure why that was. I probably have to look into that, but $124 profit is still plenty. I'm still happy with that, and I'll take it. Okay. Uh, I do think that the pound's going to continue to go down, especially the pound CAD, because there's positive Canadian news that's been coming out recently. That's what caused this huge push down, and this one as well. Um, and I've been a little lucky over the past couple days because if you zoom down in here, you'll see that yesterday I took these trades right in here, right? And I actually showed this basket being taken profit, um, or taking profit during the stream right here. And and you can see that after that it continued down with minor places that were going up. I entered here for a small profit, and then I entered here again for a long position after an inside candle set up here, and it took just $11.59, so it was a trailing stop. And I am so grateful for that because look what happened right after that. Uh, Bank of Canada announced that they might need less stimulus than they thought originally. Then this huge push down happened. This is the kind of stuff that you guys have to be really careful of because any of us can get caught in those kind of random news announcement, unscheduled fundamental news. Those things can just murder your trading in a fast amount of time because they're unexpected. So you can either get your stop losses hit, or if you don't have a stop loss, you could get hit really really bad. So it's important that you have a plan out. If you're basket trading, make sure that your trades aren't too risky. If you're stop loss trading, make sure that your stop loss makes sense. It's not too tight, not too large, because this kind of stuff can really really uh, hurt your account. All right, so later in the day after the big push happened down, I ended up taking a position here. It was based on, I believe, the 15-minute time frame. Yes, it was. It was an inside candle on maybe it was the 30-minute. Not on the 30-minute. Yeah, it was an inside candle on the 15-minute time frame right here. So took that position, took a small amount of profit, and then it fell again after that. So I keep getting, I would say maybe a little lucky, maybe a little bit of skill, but I keep taking these small pullbacks before it heads back down again. And you see that this was the second leg of this moving down, and then I didn't take any more positions. Now this was actually, I was sleeping during this time, but this was a really good inside candle or bullish engulfing candle setup, and also here there was an inside candle here for the push back up, and it did push. But honestly, guys, this is the pound right now, and the pound is under immense pressure. So it would be wise for most of you guys, if you're trading in the pound, to stick to the short positions right now. I think that longer, midterm, medium, maybe even short, in long term, the pound is going to continue down because the future is unknown. There's a lot of stuff that they have to do. The Brexit plan is only 2 years long. They have 2 years to really get things settled. And so I think that overall the pound is going to have a lot of downward movement. Now there will be times where it's like they have pullbacks, but I think it's going to be more like this kind of movement that you see here, where it has areas of pullback, but it overall is going to continue downward. So better off sticking on this on the short side of any of the pound pairs. Okay, so I've been reading a lot of information about the pound lately, and and how much needs to be done and how much is unknown of the future in the UK. Uh, and a good summary of that. I don't know if any of you guys watched John Oliver, but I recommend watching this latest episode, Brexit 2 last week tonight with John Oliver. It's only a 19-minute clip, but it kind of gives you the rundown of what the UK has to go through, where they are now, and where they have to be in order to get things, um, I guess, worked out there. It's a complete mess. I recommend watching that because it will give you, in a nutshell, if you don't like look at news statements and try to dig things up, um, really enlightening information that can be used to show you the state of the UK, and also that obviously reflects on the pound. Okay, so if the living conditions aren't great in the UK, then that usually means that the currency will lose value, um, whether it be a big amount of value or smaller. It really depends. Okay, um, so really should be on the short side overall if you're trading the pound. All right, so next I want to talk about so those of you that are just joining, this is my profitable trade for today. $124. You can see where the entries were. Inside candle setup. Second entry at the whole number. Again, inside candle setup up the top. Um, oh yes, I needed to tell you guys about the back testing that I've been doing with the ICEFX. Uh, what's it called? Trade. I don't even remember what the name of it is. I need to find it. Uh, okay, it's right here. I don't know why I didn't realize that, but it's the trade agent. So the ICEFX trade agent that I purchased just yesterday. I've been doing some manual backtesting on my strategy, and there's something that I wanted to show you guys because you know the strategy that I was using, where I had a 20 pip grid on my entries, and I was taking entries on reversal areas like in the market where there's an inside candle or where the price slows down, and I'm looking for a pullback, and then I'd enter on a grid. Well, I showed that that was working very well over months of time, and I did about 3 months or so of testing, and recently I saw this happen, and my strategy didn't work. This just shows me right now that I got stumped. My strategy blew up. Basically, the idea of entering on the 5 minute candles and entering on a 20 pip grid and looking for and entering on a 7 pip trailing stop, it just didn't work. It worked for a few months and then it blew up. So this area right here. So when I was doing the back testing, I entered a trade setup, a short position on the downside after these two candles. The reason why is that this isn't an inside candle, it's not an engulfing candle, but the candle after is an inside bearish. So it made me think that this would go on the downside, especially being up the support up here. This is back in April of this year. And you see what happened? It shot right back up in a big way. So it doesn't matter if I was entering on support resistance, if I was entering on candlesticks, if I was entering on a grid. Because of this massive movement on the upside against me, there's no way I would have been able to survive. That's a 500 pip move against me, all the way up to the peak. Well, 462 pips. So being on the short side, even if I basket trade at minimal smaller risk, I would have still been in like 50 or more percent drawdown on this entire move. So that strategy didn't work. It doesn't mean that the inside candle strategy on the 5 minute candles doesn't work. It just means that the money management side isn't that great. I need to find out a way to close out my positions, a better filter system so I don't enter this trade to begin with. So a lot more research in that area needs to be done before I can start using what I was just using yesterday again. So the strategy that I took all these trades on works temporarily, but it could blow up at any time. I mean, it's the same thing that we're all susceptible to hitting though. Is we enter a position, say for example right here, and then the market just completely moves against us, and we have a huge drawdown or loss. Um, and it's just unknown, and it's hard to really know when those times are going to happen. But we all can get caught in them. And it's about trying to filter out those positions. I don't want to take this position, but I saw it as an actual opportunity, and it just didn't work out, and it went massively against me. Now, in the past, typically that doesn't happen, but it did in this case, and so it makes it so I am cautious and won't be using this type of strategy or money management, at least for the strategy, anymore because if it shows that it blew up once, I'm not gonna risk my $30,000 to if it blows up again. That's just not who I am as a trader. But we run into this issue all the time, guys, is that we have a system or strategy that does so well over a few months, and then all of a sudden it just flops. Um, and I knew that there was something that was probably going to happen like that because the strategy was making way too much money. It was making like 10% per month at least. Um, and like 500 a week. It was pretty ridiculous. And so I knew that I'm like maybe the risk is too high, but it doesn't even matter in this particular situation. Even if I lowered the risk, if I had a stop loss strategy, I would get hit of stop losses all the way up. It's just not a great scenario. Okay, so I don't spend too long on each topic. I'm going to move on to my current EA that I'm looking at. Now, I like the idea is exactly what I was doing here, and I think that you guys like it too, considering the responses that I was getting. Um, was how I'm in trades very quickly. They're only in for, you know, 15 minutes to an hour in most cases, and I'm taking a good amount of profit. And I like that kind of setup because it means that you're in and out of the market and you have instant rewards instead of having to wait days, weeks, or even months to come out with profit. And just like here, I only had to wait an hour or so in order to come out with $124. This was different. I did modify this type of setup. I was using ISFX to trade agent, but I wasn't using a grid, and I was entering manually on when I thought the market would reverse and go in my favor, and it worked out very well. So this EA is, again, I've mentioned this in my strategies in some of my past videos. It is a scalping EA. This EA it must be used very carefully because it can give you a lot of trouble if you use it during heavy news statements, if you don't use it with the right settings. But this is a M1 scalper on the Euro US dollar. Um, and I have particular settings placed where you can see the equity and balance curve are really solid. Now there is some small places of losses, like you see here. Let me see if I can circle this out. Small areas of losses and drawdown. But you can see that the drawdown is not that high. I don't have this EA on a compounding system, so it means that it stays at 30.30 lots for every 30,000 in the account. And it should, increase the balance, but I don't have a way to increase um, the profit amount. So in the EA, I have a set profit of a dollar amount, in which I can do. And because of that, it complicates the money management and allows me to not get a accurate representation of what the EA is capable of if I have it compounding the profits. That's something that I can work out later. But what I wanted to show you guys is what I'm looking at. What I'm looking at is the drawdown, which I can see in the top right corner. Let me see if I can show you better. Let me remove the grid, Control G, or that's not working. Oh, wonderful. I just stopped, unless it just finished. Let me see. Oh yeah, it just finished. Okay, so let me remove the grid. Okay, so I'm looking at the drawdown. It says 17% of the account. That's not quite accurate because since I'm not compounding the interest on the account, I want to make sure that this number, 12,987, is not too high. And you can see that it actually exceeded it says it's 12,000 here, but it says it's 10,656. So a discrepancy there, but I honestly believe this one better. That's $12,987. That's still under 50% of 30,000. I want to stay under 15% or 15,000 drawdown because at LMFX I will hit a margin call because I'm using a bonus. I have a $15,000 account. They gave me a $15,000 bonus. So if I have a 50% drawdown on the $30,000 account, I'm going to have a margin call. So I need to make sure that all of my strategies stay under 50% drawdown. And you can see here that this strategy did stay under the 15%, 50%. It was very close. Um, and this was from 2016, of January 2016, all the way until current date. So about a year and a half. Okay. So a year and a half of backtesting history showing a $30,000 account going into 127. It's going to be more than that because I will compound it on a daily basis. But it's just showing me the equity imbalance curve and to making sure that this EA will work in the longer term. I still have a lot more testing to do with it. I want to test it all the way back to 2010, make sure that it works. But it's showing a lot of positive uh, potential right now. I have a stop loss on every trade. So a stop loss of 50 pips on every trade. And the grid pips, it's a grid system. And I have a dollar profit amount of 150. So that's 150. That means that for if I was trading zero point 0.1, I'm trading zero point 0.3, but zero point 0.1 means I would have $50 profit. It means I'm wanting to take um, about 5 to 10 pips profit on average on each basket. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about this kind of EA settings because a lot of you guys don't have expertise in EAs and how they work. But it's important to always have some kind of stop loss, even if it's wide with the EAs, just so they have a backup to close out trades when things really get bad. Okay, so I'm going to keep another strategy running in the background, another test, and this one's going to go. Actually, I'm going to save this. Sorry to do this on camera with you guys, but I think it's important. Okay, and it will come up at the top right here. It shows you the little statement. Okay, so running another test in the background where we talk more about how to actually create EAs um, and how difficult it is because it does require coding um, to manage to make an EA. And I didn't know coding, so what I do, I went to mql5.com where I kind of randomly found it. And what you do is you go to, I've showed this once before, but there's a few traders. CV actually asked me a question in the last video. Maybe you can show me how to actually go about creating an EA. So you go into Codebase, or Freelance, excuse me. You have to create an account first at MQL5 in order to create a job. Um, but you can actually go to the Freelance and scout this information out um, without having an account. And you can see that there are jobs here that are from people wanting coders to code them work, I guess. And it says this guy right here, I need a simple expert advisor. He shows what the instructions, also a couple pictures, and here's all the coders. These are the guys that um, will code your EA, and they give you usually an estimate on the price. Since I can't see the price estimate what they're offering, but usually it's in the range that the coder is asking, $20 to $21. All right, so you create a job and you do a new job. Okay, so you agree to the terms, and then you let me pull this down. You do the title. That's the title that we're going for. And if you're using MQL5 or MQL4, I'm using MQL4. And is it indicators? Is it expert advisors? We'll select expert advisors, apply. What's your price range? Well, it depends on how difficult the EA is. Is it an EA that uses 5 indicators? Is it an EA that uses 1 or 2 indicators? Usually, the more indicators, the more instructions that you want to add to the EA, the more expensive it should be. But if it's an EA that's based on 1 to 2 indicators, let's say that you want a price range of 20 to maybe $30, right? And how many days? Well, you could do. Most coders can do finish an EA in about a week. It depends on the coder. I pick some of the top guys to do it, and I'll talk about that in a second. 1, 2, 3 days for an EA that's pretty simple, only 1 to 2 indicators. Accept the terms, and then write out your instructions. What you want to do for the EA, and then once you're done with that, you do add, and then it will pop up on the menu here. And just make sure that you have the right information. And you can also see here the top coders. These are the top developers. This is my developer actually. This guy, he's done so many jobs for me. I believe that he's done almost 100 jobs for me. He's a really talented guy. His first language is not English, but over the course of the last 3 years since I've been working with him, his English has gotten a lot better. Very knowledgeable guy. One of the few that I know that can do candle setups or candle formations, where he can code price action candlesticks depending on what you want. He was able to do that for me. Um, so I recommend him, and I also recommend Husheng. He's also a really good coder too. All right, so I don't lose you guys' attention. I know this might be something boring for you, but it is necessary, especially if you want to create a piece of software that has your strategy. It's really easy. Typically, the coder will be done in a few days, and then you can test it. Now, the testing, I've done so much. I've shown you with back testing. If you guys want a full video on back testing, I can always do that too. Um, and that should be pretty straightforward. Okay, so the stats on my account for today, it's just $124 for the week, 300. And you can see my balance, how things are going. And for the month, we're still going strong at 1,339 at 4.7%. I'm well on my way to having one of my best months ever, actually. Well, in this year, I had 5.75% last month, but I think I'm going to exceed that this month. All right, so what's the plan for me now? I'm gonna probably end this stream a bit early today, just because I don't have a lot to talk about at the moment. I'll probably do videos the rest of the week unless something crazy has happened. Um, but I'm looking at this EA. I'm looking at the Euro US dollar scalping EA because I like the idea of entering trades very quickly and only having them in for an hour, maybe 2 hours, sometimes just minutes, and then just sitting on the profits in that way. Um, the CA does have some areas of losses, like you can see here. Let me take off the grid. And let me actually, for the next little bit, let me describe to you guys what this EA actually does. And some of you may have heard about it already. Let me see if I have it on here. TMA. Yep, here it is. Oh, geez, it's going to start taking trades if I don't disable it. Okay. Uh, so this is the TMA EA. This is the reason why it's called TMA is because it is based on this indicator. Now this is like a kind of like a price action Bollinger Band type of revert to the median type of indicator. And the scalping EA actually takes trades when short positions when the price goes 1 pip above the red line, or 1 pip, and it takes long positions 1 pip below the green line. So it's basically like kind of like Bollinger Band, stochastic, overbought, oversold, and looking for small pullbacks in the market of only 3 to 5 pips that I'll be taking on each trade. But the nice thing about this indicator is that it shows, well, it doesn't, well, there's one bad thing, is that it's a repainting indicator. So what you see here, it looks much better with how it bounces up and down over the curve. It looks much better. It looks like a godlike type of indicator where it jumps down and goes back up. It repaints itself. But you can still use a repainting indicator to your advantage in the market if you know how to use them correctly. Like I have had a lot of experience with this indicator. Um, but the nice thing is that it will basically filter out really volatile times in the market and non-volatile times. So you want to trade the market when there's enough volume, or and not trade when there's too much volume. And so it will usually have you in a pretty good setting. Um, then this EA looks for small, very small scalps, and that's what I'm going to show you here. Let me see if I can load up the TMA so you can see it in the background. Um, Indicators, TMA. There it is. Okay. So this is what it looks weird, right? It doesn't look right because this isn't showing quite where it entered. And this is also on a grid, and it shows that it ended up taking profit way at the bottom, but some trades closed out in loss, right? A couple trades closed out in loss and some closed out in profit. The profit made up for some of the loss, and that's why I have the 50 pip stop loss on each of the trades, is so things don't get out of hand. Like I've told you guys before, that when you're basket trading, you need to have a cutoff point. Otherwise, you're just going to basket forever until your count's dead. And so there has to be a point in the market where you say, okay, I can't hold on to this position anymore. I need to give it up. And so that's why this EA has a cutoff, and it has a smart cutoff. I want to make sure that it makes sense with the strategy, and that the losses, the small losses, are being made back in a smooth equity curve because most of the trades are closing out in profit. All right. I'll talk more about that EA as time goes on, especially if I start using it. It's right now it's looking pretty good that I'm going to use this EA at the current settings, and it looks like it's going to be very, very profitable. I'm probably going to use, I may use it at a slightly less risk, but it's at these settings, it's looking really good. There's a chance that it could blow up. I'm going to have to do a lot more testing. This is just one test. Now, usually when I do EA testing, I do control points first. Control points is a little less accurate. It's not as accurate as every tick test, which is 90% modeling quality. And you need to make sure that you're covering all your bases before you start using an EA Live, because it's just like with a regular system. You can't just find a new system online that you purchase. Somebody said it was amazing. You need to study it. You need to figure out how to work it. You need to figure out how the indicators work with the market, why they're there, why they complement the strategy. You always have to ask why, and before you start using something in live trading, because you don't want to blow up your account. Safety should always come first. I sound like a car salesman. Um, uh, Buckle up for safety type of thing. But it really is. It works for this. It's important for us to protect our accounts, especially if we're have an account of $30,000 or more. Some guys have a lot more. And you'll see that the larger an account is with somebody. So let's say that some guy has $1,000 account. He's going to be a lot more. He or she's going to be a lot more risky with that $1,000 than somebody is with a $100,000 account. A The guy that has $1,000 account may be thinking that 50 to 100% profit per month is necessary or is normal. The guy that has a $100,000 account is thinking that maybe 2 to 3% profit per month is um, is is uh, is a more likely scenario, or a passion that they want. So you see the difference is, you should be thinking more like a trader that has a large account than somebody that has a smaller one. It sets you up for better expectations. You won't be as greedy. It's been a hard transition for me to go from that. I've done a lot of high risk trading when I was younger, I'm still pretty young now, but I did a lot of high risk trading in the beginning, and then had to transition into lower risk, and it's so hard. It still is so hard. You guys still see me making mistakes every once in a while, putting in massive 3 lot trades during big news events. And that was a mistake. I tried so hard today to not do that. I wanted to do that so much on these 2 positions because I wanted to do big trades because I know how much pressure the pound has right now, and what the positivity that the CAD is getting, which is causing this movement so much down. So I was really tempted, but I said, and I swore to you guys on the camera that I wasn't going to do that anymore. And it's still a fight. It's still a fight to not get carried away, because you can. You have access to. I have access to so much margin. I have no open trades, and I just want to go in deep and see what happens. And it just likely it's not going to work out for the best. It's too much risk involved. It has to be calculated. Otherwise, it can't be emotional. Otherwise, it's not going to work out for you. Okay. Any questions from you guys today? It looks like there's a lot of questions. We had a lower show out today, or that showed up. It's probably because I didn't give a lot of people notice on what was going on. Um, but we'll see how things go. I'm going to continue testing. I'll take some more manual trades probably. I'll be very careful with them. I'm only going to be trading on the short side on the manual trades on the pound CAD um, today, improbable for the time being. My algorithm hasn't taken any trades this week, which is a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing about it is if you're looking at the pound CAD and you're um, going to the 1 hour, you can see the push down. Now, my algorithm looks for pullbacks in the market, so that means it's currently looking for buy opportunities, right? You can see all of the profits that I made in this area, but the algorithm is not taking any positions because none of have manifested themselves to yet in general. Um, so nothing has shown that the market or this is going to bounce up in a bigger way, and so I'm just waiting and holding out until that happens. But I was a little bit scared. I'm a little bit scared of my algorithm taking long positions right now because of how much pressure is on the pound. Um, but if you look at this, it's already moved so much, and I haven't taken my algorithm hasn't taken any positions on the way down yet, which means that the longer this moves down, which is 700 pips at this point, um, the farther this moves down, the more likely it is to bounce up. I still think it's going to move down over the longer term, but there will be some pullbacks that happen, which I hope to capture. All right, looks like we have a question from Andy. Could you go over the settings on IceFX trade agent on first setup in general? Yeah, sure, I can do that. I mean, it's only 38. We're only 38 minutes into this, and I'm kind of running out of stuff to talk about, anyways. Um, okay, so let me. All right, the settings in IceFX, because they don't really show you the settings in IceFX. So I don't know if some of you are new, but this is a piece of software that helps with manual trading and management. It's not expensive. It's only $100. All right, so you can see that I actually purchased the software, and so you don't need to. Let me make this wider. You don't need to change. I changed. This is the risk percentage. I actually just changed it to 0. Lot size, I have it at 0 as well, but you would want to change that to whatever you're trading with. So, like for example, I'm trading manual trading with 6, so you want that to be 6. So that means when you select buy or sell, that zero point 0.6 lots will go in once you set that. So let me do that now. 0. 0.6, press OK. Okay, so you see that just changed. So now it says 0.6 on the sell, and that you just use that to work the trades. All right, next is the stop loss. So stop loss and take profit. Now this means whenever you set it to, let's say 50 for the stop loss and 50 for the take profit, that means it's 50 pips. 50 pips for the stop loss and 50 pips for the take profit. So that means if I decided I'm going to click on the sell button here, and that means that the trade will instantly have a 50 pip stop loss and a 50 pip take profit. You don't even have to set them, which is pretty awesome. Okay, auto turn off defined. Not really sure what that is. I just have it as true. I haven't had any issues with it yet. So this is a trailing stop that I was talking to you guys about before. You can have two trailing stops. I just have the one in place, and I had this set to 7 pips yesterday. So that means that when the market moves 7 pips in my favor, that means that my stop loss is moved to break even and will continue to move up depending on uh, how the price moves. Trailing always, I have it as false. You can set it as true if you want to always to take a trailing stop. Let's see. Another really cool setting. Uh, I don't think you have to worry about any of these. You can do break even at a certain amount of pips. So if you want it to break even at at 20 pips profit, you can set that as well. Because it's basically you're changing the setting for this option here. So this has to do with this. So you can define how many pips you want the break even to be at. Okay. Um, the quick partial close again. This area you're looking at the partial close and also close all function is just below it as well. So probably nothing that you're going to have to worry about too much, but you can probably figure it out because these are having to do with the settings of the buttons here on the right side. Disable trend line function. Now, the trend lines function is pretty cool. You can set it as true, and it means that when you draw trend lines on the chart, I think that I can do that here. I'm not sure how to draw that once you have it selected. Um, but I believe that's one of the options that you can do. I'll try to figure that out more as I go. Sorry, I don't have all the answers, but it's just because I don't have a manual either in it. But I know EAs a little bit better, so I can figure them out. Um, I have everything else set as false. One of the big options I think that you will need to or want to know is these options here. Auto close at profit money. Money percent, money, lost percent. This function is really cool because it means that you can manually basket trade. You don't need to be on a grid, and you can have all your trades close at a percent profit. So 1% profit is what I have a mindset at. You could also do a dollar amount. So if you want them to all close out at $100, you can set that as well. And that means all trades will close out once that target is met. So really cool function. I'm really glad I found it. And because I honestly think that it's more important to close trades or better to close trades at a dollar amount or a percent amount instead of a pip amount. Because we can have varying ranges of lot sizes for our trades, and a lot of times it's really difficult to figure out what the profit's going to be with a pip amount. And so I like to have the percent there as well. Um, Especially if I have a set lot, it just makes things very easy. Grid size. So this is the grid size. So if you actually enter a trade and it pops up, I don't have a trade in right now, but if it pops up, then you can set the grid size or set the grid on or off. And this is how many pips it will be from each level of price. Max grid count is 100. Okay, so 100, I have it 100. Standard is 10. So you might, if you have a lot more basket trades, if you do a lot of heavy basket trading, you might want to increase that limit. This is the multiplier. So this is a grid lot multiplier. This is something that you'll see in EAs as well. You might want to keep this in mind for if you have your own EA that you're creating. And if you set this at 2.0 or 2, then that means that you will martingale your grid. Your grid will be martingale. Probably not the wisest thing to do, but if you have really low risk, it's something that you could experiment with. And so that means when you have it at 2, that means that the first trade will be at, for example, if you're trading 0.1 lots, the second trade will be 0.2, its third trade will be 0.4, and it will just double in size. And it's just not something that you may want to find a lot of value in. All right, so that's the big thing. Most of the options that I know of that could continue through the process because there are so many things. but I feel like I'm going to lose the attention of everybody here if I talk too much about this stuff. Um, and So I might actually release a standard video um, talking about all the options that I know of, especially the ones that I didn't go over. If I know anything about them, I might talk about them in a separate video. So that should get you off on your way, though, Andy, on figuring out how to work the EA for your liking. All right. Any other questions, guys, before I leave today? Let's see how our test is going. So far, so good. All right, I did hit this drawdown, which is pretty high at $12,048. Still under the 15,000 mark, but honestly, guys, I'm not going to need a 30,000 into 60 in 7 months. That's pretty. That's 100% profit in 7 months. I can probably lower the risk and just be just fine with this. All right, yeah, Andy, I'm glad I could help. um, all right, guys, I think that's it for today. We were at about 45 minutes. Sorry if the stream was a little bit boring, but I can't really know what's going to happen in the streams. Didn't have a lot of trades going on today. I don't have a lot of opportunities since this is on its way down. Um, and I don't have any algorithm trades in. I'm tradeless right now. So that's it. And I'll see you guys probably later on this week. And I don't know if I'll stream again. It depends on the action, the market. If something is exciting happening, I'll have more to talk about in the streams. Otherwise, keep a lookout for the videos of some short updates that I'll do later on this week. All right, guys, have a good one, and we'll see you next time. Bye.